Everybody, Todd McFarlane. Today we're going to try something a little bit different. I'm just going to show you how I just normally ink and draw during the day when you guys are all doing your thing. I do my thing. This pen right here, I don't know if you can see it, this is how I used to ink on paper. Just dip it into the inkwell and then go like this and then scratch it on the paper and make all the lines. But now, as you guys know, I use the computer to get the same work done. So here's a page that we're working on here for 267 that it was sending to the printer here tomorrow. But you can see here that here's some of the inking that I do. And again, we just sort of come in with layers with gray, and then we come in there. There it is with the gray tones. And then we put in some ink in here, some ink there, and then this one is down at 57%. So if I bring it all the way up, it gets dark. So it all actually ends up matching. But when I go down here to ink, so let me just show you how I normally ink and why I can't really show you a lot of stuff when I'm drawing that has a lot of the details. So here's the drawing right here. I'll bring it down up in here. But here's the eye, here's the nose, here's the mouth up in here. Here's a hand, and then here's the hair. So I'm just going to go and tackle the hair right now and just show you how long it takes to actually even get like one panel done. So here's the framing of it. Maybe I'll make it a little bit darker so you can see. There you go. So there's the framing of it right there. But now my job is to sit there and just make it look a little more interesting than just the framing of it. So a lot of it is just doing thins and thicks and throwing lines. And the thing that's interesting is that if I was to do this an hour from now, some of these lines would be different. So there's no rules to any of this, right? My job is to just make sure it looks like there's some kind of sheen in the hair. So I'll go here, I'll make some bulky stuff, then I'll go thin with it up in here, and then let's get a little bit bigger for you. Then I'll get up in here, and then we'll do individual pieces. And then even in the front, I don't like the way that the front is combed so nicely. So what I'm going to do up over here is, I'll go up over here, is that now I'm going to start throwing some pieces of hair just so it feels like, it's a little bit messy. And especially because right now this is the Terry character, and he's getting pushed against the wall by Al Simmons, the Spawn character. So we'll come up in here, we'll mess up the hair just a little bit. And like I said, none of this is actually has any sort of real rules to it, other than making sure that it feels like he has hair and it's a little bit messy, right? So you can, when you first do, as you can see underneath here, when you first do your underdrawing, you can make it nice and polite and nice and clean. And then when you come in here to ink, you can get a little bit sort of crazy with it. So the pencils on here were done by a great man named Szymon Kadransky, who lives over in Poland right now. He does some really good stuff. So, and now I need to get this to be black, and so it's easy to throw some of this stuff. And then if I find out that I did too much black, then the easy thing then is for me to come back in, and now watch this. I can cut a highlight right in here. I can cut another hair or two up over here if I want to throw another hair in here, right? All this becomes very easy with sort of a drop of a button here. So I come up back in here, and then I can cut another one on top of it. So at any time I need to take something away, it's just a click of a button, right? There's white, and then I come back in with black. So if I go down here, let me see if I can finish some of this real quick. And now the other way to get it done real fast, that might be bothersome to you people right now, is I go a little bit small, so my lines cover a lot more space. Obviously, the bigger it is, the more I got to sort of throw my hand. So now I get a lot of the black in here. He's on the phone. This is a cell phone right here, so I've got to make some detail. I'm going to have to make some detail in here of the cell phone, maybe put a couple buttons in here. But I'll sort of make that all interesting in a bit. And then this is going to be the hand, so I don't have time to show you how I'm going to ink the hand. And now even the hair here, what I'll do is I'll put some short pieces, because why? We just have random hairs that just sort of come in and out. And even though we comb our hair, they're not always perfect. The one thing that always bugs me when I look at a lot of comic book hair is that sometimes it's a little bit too pretty for me. So it's okay if you actually have some randomness that goes into it. Now if I go here, and then let's make the forehead a little bit thick, then you'll be able to see a little bit of what it is that we're drawing here. Get a little bit thick underneath the nose, come up here, a little bit thicker here, make sure underneath the lip gets a little bit thicker, and I'll add all my little sort of cute little sort of silly lines that get in there. But as you can see, not only there's the detail big and close. Let me show you here. Hard to do sometimes with two hands. Here's the detail here, right? So there's all that, and then it looks like a lot of stuff, but then that's only the detail for one panel, and that one panel there's the page. So here's the entire page that's going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 panels in it, and all of what I just showed you is just this little tiny space right up in here. So I sometimes when we get too much color, I don't think people realize, you know, even this face right here that I was saying, this face right here is going to be pretty tiny in the comic book, but if I take my computer and I blow it way, 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 way up, you can actually see that there's a lot of detail just in that head, even at that size. And that's probably 25 times bigger than you're going to see it in the comic book size, right? So sometimes I'll draw probably way too big, and then I shrink it down and make sure that it looks good at a normal size like that. So anyway, that's it for today. It's what I do, and then I'll do that for 10 hours a day, and eventually the comic books get done, and you guys read them in 20 minutes and ask me when the next one's coming. So I got to get back to it. Thanks for joining me. Be good.